Welcome to writingalong.com. Today's episode is a little more topical, or it's reflective, it's after the fact, depends how you want to see the world, but this virus really, took a toll on the world to say the least, and it's just going to be ingrained in the public conscience for quite a bit. I mean, people are going to be talking about this a century from now, and you're living here right now. You're living in this topic that's going to be something people study, that people analyze and try to understand what happened, what were the lives like, what is normal to you, what now you just kind of see as, oh yeah, that's just how it is, that's how it was. Kind of sucked, it's a little weird, but we had to live through that. And no matter your perspectives, no matter your opinions on how it started, or what's behind all that kind of stuff, that's cool. Keep your own strong opinions and thoughts about it, and don't exactly throw them away or think that this episode is here to challenge you on them. What it's going to challenge you on is realizing the value in how you see things. Even if someone else thinks it's absurd or crazy, you really might be sitting on something that would be really significant in the future. We're preserving something as writers. I want you right now to just kind of reflect a bit. Just think on what was the biggest change in your life because of the pandemic. Really, just kind of sit there and ask yourself. It could be something small, something big, relatively, but just what was the most, to you, significant thing that the pandemic created in your life or caused in your life? Well, I hope you thought about it, because there has to be something. Something was, no matter what, everything was touched. Nothing was left unearthed. Everything had some kind of impact in it. And because of that, you got to be the one to not forget about that. Don't really just toss it aside like, okay, well, it's over now and it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a valuable perception. It's a valuable perspective. And the way your life was influenced, where you found yourself now, that matters. Write about it. And you don't have to sensationalize it. You don't have to make it look like this, make it look like that. I mean, when you write about this virus, this pandemic, tell about the way that you saw it. Tell about the way you just answered that question that we just brought up. What exactly happened to you? What happened to you matters. It does. Who am I to? Who cares? Everyone had some kind of experience with it. What's so special about it? Yours in particular is special, especially as a writer, because you're the one who will be preserving it in a very authentic and transparent way. When it comes to media portrayals, everyone, no matter what political stance you have, or you're apolitical, I don't care. But no matter where you stand on it, every news outlet was kind of influenced by something. There's teams, there's big things, things that had to be met, requirements. Self-expression wasn't just free. And if it was probably, the context wasn't so great. A tweet doesn't say everything about the world, nor can it be taken exactly too seriously. It's just the context. Because of the kind of stuff that gets put out there on a daily basis, it's saturated. But when it comes to writing, and whether that's an essay, a book, a novel, a memoir, that's its own respected, it's not a crowded space. You might think it is, like, oh, there's so many books out there. What are you talking about? Not really. Not everyone is writing a book. Ask around today. Have you written a book? Have you written a book? Who's going to say yes? If someone said yes, you might be like, oh, wow, that's cool. That means something. That's you'll find very quickly. It's not every day someone is writing a book about something, or at all collecting their thoughts through this craft, through this art. So when you do it with, the pandemic, yours is going to be unique. You're making it stand out. You're saying, yeah, this happened to me. This happened in my life. And others will be able to relate and experience what this was like, how it was, rather than just letting that experience die and pass. Because the future learns from the past. We learn now from the past. Or whether decisions are made depending on that it's a whole other question. But nevertheless, the past matters. It's not just isolated. It's not just left behind. Time is fluid. You're within it right now. You're immersed in it. You dove in, and you're head first into this little timeline. Getting this happen then, this happened now, what's going to happen in the future, that whole thing. You find yourself somewhere in there, swimming through it. So give something, create some kind of monument. Not it doesn't have to be not a statue, right? Not a a copper little trophy or something, like not a I don't know if you have the resources to build a modern day pyramids, right? Something that's going to stand. Build something that stands even longer, which is your writing. You don't have to worry about it being destroyed. It captures it and encapsulates it, and it's really like a time capsule. That's what you have as a responsibility as a writer. If you feel something in you, you don't want to force it into your writing if you don't really want to. If it's not that big a deal to you, if it really didn't mean anything, but if something in you is saying like, yeah, this happened to me because of the pandemic, and it was a big deal. It changed a lot. It meant a lot to me, and I want to talk about it. I want to express that. I want people to know about that. Right, and include it in your writing. Don't be afraid to. Don't think it's a cliche to or something like that. You've probably seen certain television shows try to include it, right? But it's just like a one-off comment. It's like, what did they just say that? Did they just say COVID in this cheesy doctor show? Like, what are they talking about? Like that kind of stuff. You have an opportunity to say something even more significant, to say something even more profound. Not because you're trying to be profound, but just by the nature of it. By the nature of it's you. It's you giving yourself a voice, giving yourself a context, a medium to say what you want about it. Did you think it was some grand conspiratory effort to subdue a population and marginalize them and see what kind of limits you can push on them? How much can you really lie to them and before they start questioning things? Or did you see it as just an accident, something that was a human error that resulted in dire consequences? Or did you think a vaccine was just a extremely ethically just a horrific, morally ambiguous maybe marketing technique to make a few people around the world some billionaires, nice little deal? Or did you think the vaccine was just a solution offered by this medical field that has been developed and pioneered, and a vaccination was a testament to the current abilities of that structure, of that force, of that human effort, and it was offered to the world, and it was a force of good. It was goodwill. It was something that was signifying of humans can accomplish this. We fall into some trouble sometimes, but you know what? We can pick right back up where we left from, and we can get started again. That kind of stuff. Did you lose your job? Let's not dance around it, right? I mean, did a relationship fall apart because of it? Did you start a relationship because of it? Did you find a job because of it? Did you start working from home and understanding what those freedoms meant and what it was like? Or inviting the workplace into your home is a significant thing. Did you have to fall into a bankruptcy? Did you lose everything? Did you gain everything? Lots of people got rich. Lots of people lost their money. It's full of extremes. With such a cataclysmic event, it's not a war against pitting countries together. Like, it's not a world war, but it's something of that measure. Extremities. And you found yourself with the crossfires of those. Not necessarily gunfire, hopefully not, but you found yourself in this time and place in history that comes up every once in a while. It's not new. I mean, people find themselves in such strange worlds, such strange lives where everything was normal. Now it's this. What the hell is this? Times of wartime has been common. Everything's just fallen apart. Cities have burned and collapsed, and cities have been built and developed, and civilizations have grown and prospered. Those times when everything's so extreme, it's one of those. It's been one of those. Some might say it still is. Some might say it's not. What do you think about it? What you think about it is something that you can talk about. It's something that you can write about, and it's something I want to encourage you to not just let die. Don't let those strong feelings, don't let those perceptions of this craziness, of just this monstrosity of events and how they occurred, how seemingly illogical they are, or how logical they may seem to you. All of this stuff, these connections that you made that no one else made, what you think people are overlooking about it. Is it being too sensationalized? Are people just focusing on these death tolls? Is it it's just counting sheep? Like, is it even taking into account the individual lives that were gone? or there's certain people have taken on comedic role, like careers have spun because of the pandemic. Careers have been lost because of it. All of this, where did you find yourself within it? Where are you now because of it? You're alive right now, you're here, you're listening, but it was something to go through. It was something to experience. And it was such a shared thing, too, that if you talk about it, if you write about it, I am pretty confident it's going to resonate with people. Whether they agree with the way you saw things or not, it doesn't really matter if someone agrees with the way you see things, because that's just how it came to you. You're just being honest. You're just being authentic. And you really do owe the world your perspective and your perceptions. What you have to say and think about this all is really important. Don't discredit your own thoughts on this stuff. Check out How to Write a Book in 30 Days on my website at writingalong.com. It's free, by the way. It's just completely free. I send it to your inbox because it can sit there. And it's a PDF you're more likely to open if you open your thing and you see it there. David from Writing Along is like, oh, I can't really ignore it after a while. It's just kind of, let it annoy you if you need it to. Some people don't ever download it, and that's okay. Just take it as a reminder to write your book. I'll see you around, and thanks for tuning in on this episode.